Wow, that's pretty humming there.
Thank you so much, and welcome everybody to the PoddiMouths.
Hi, y'all.
Podcast.
Welcome.
How you doing,
Nick?
Johnny?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well, sir.
I still have the black fingernail. I'm sorry, and I know I'm going to accidentally bring it.
Yeah, you're just going to accidentally gross me out.
I'm going to have it for 8 months. You know that, right?
Yeah. Well, you got to slowly chip it every time you cut your nails. It slowly goes away.
No, and that's what. And I showed Lisa. I said, "Oh, this is almost healed." She said, "It's going to be there for 8 months."
You should just paint all the rest of your nails black.
I was thinking that. In fact, you wonder some people that do that.
Mm-hmm.
Is that because they hammered their finger in a door? Maybe?
Probably, but unfortunately, I never wondered.
Well, me either. And so I struggle with this because I could paint it a flesh color.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe
you could do that.
But if somebody sees that and they see that you have one obviously painted flesh colored nail.
But how many people are really looking at your nails? Honestly,
lot, I think.
I'm sure down there in
especially
good old Florida.
Pedicure.
Right. Yeah. They're all looking at your fingernails when you're getting a pedicure.
Sometimes they are.
Sometimes.
Yes,
So
okay.
John.
Yes, Nick.
I want to tell you, I was excited to tell you since I took off and now I've had the experience technically 4 flights now on Delta, which I'm a United person because most of the places I fly have that's United. So
First, let me ask the obvious. Why did you switch to Delta? Because
I was flying somewhere that the United flight wasn't getting me there when I needed to get there.
And people who don't fly a lot don't get that. It's really, I mean, you're right. That's what causes me to switch airlines is the convenience and they fly where you need to go.
Yeah, I prefer if I have the choice, I will most of the time. Again, it also depends on price. Most of the time, choose United because I do have status and it ties into everything that I wanted to tie in. Blah 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 blah. Mm-hmm. But I also have a United credit card, which points every time. So you add up the points, which also gives me access to the United clubs, and it just makes it easier. So a couple of things I learned though, and this is interesting. So I haven't flown Delta in a very long time. It has been probably 10 years. And this was before I got really good at, and maybe good, I don't know. I'm not very good, but I think I'm very good. I'm comfortable with my points and my, my little tips and my tricks and getting upgraded on United.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Or even, flying on Southwest, even though I try not to. Again, by the Southwest, the top when it comes to customer service, by hands down. I mean, I love their customer service. I just don't like the cattle call. Anyway, so I knew coming up to this particular place that I wouldn't be able to fly United. I could probably fly Southwest, but the again, cattle call, same price, maybe even cheaper. Actually, this time it came out cheaper on Delta.
Well, you've got sound effects for cattle call.
I love this. You're better than the machine that we have built into the system.
I'm better than a lot of cows.
You're better than a lot. That You're sure full of something. Drink some of my tea. Anyway, so I decided to go ahead and try something I had never done before, and that is whenever you have status on one airline or in one Marriott or a hotel or whatever, you can actually request for the other airline to match your status. So I knew I'd be flying Delta, so I went ahead and I requested a status match. And I said, hey, if Delta flies pretty much the same place United does, the only difference is where you have to connect. I'd much rather, because my territory is west of Nashville, I don't want to fly east to fly west. Because from Nashville, if you fly Delta, you fly to Atlanta, and then you fly wherever you need to go.
Well, or Minneapolis, which is essentially
that's still
the same thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I that's another reason that
Salt Lake City.
Yeah, but then I'd be going past my territory to come back.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're asking way too much.
Exactly. So United, for those of you who don't know, the 2 main hubs for United in my territory are Denver, which is in my territory, and Houston, which is also in my territory. Mm-hmm. So it just makes sense to fly there and then fly a short hop to wherever I need to go.
Sure.
So anyway, I went ahead and did the upgrade challenge or whatever they call it, just to see what the difference is. And I knew I'd be flying, so I might as well.
And let me just interject, because at least in my experience with the status match, is you have 3 months or something that to fly X number of miles in order to get that status. So you don't get it immediately, right?
No. Well, you get it immediately.
Oh, okay.
But you only get it for 3 months until you fly those. If you fly those miles, then you keep it. If you don't fly your miles, you go back to the previous status.
Okay, so you had your top level status essentially then.
Almost.
Delta when you flew them.
I am literally one flight on United away from the next status level.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I quite literally need 400 miles.
Wow.
Yeah. So and that's the difference between gold and platinum, I think. I'm gold. The next level up is platinum. The only level above that is 1K. And I will probably hit 1K in 4 or 5 more flights.
Wow. Okay, cool.
But you can also hit 1K using your credit card. Lord knows I use that enough.
Okay.
Anyway, so
I'm throwing an eye drops for those of our viewers who are wondering what's dry eyes today. I'm not sure what.
It's all the drugs. Anyway.
No.
Not enough drugs?
Yeah, no. If so, they're just finally taking hold. It's taken a long time.
Yeah.
All right,
I don't even. I was gonna have a quippy comeback, but my brain just went.
We're used to
I'm
that.
good at soundtracks.
Please, that was very good. Yeah,
thank you.
Never heard a good whatever that was.
Yeah, remind me later. I want to show you something.
Okay. Hey, viewers and listeners, would you remind me later to remind him?
Yeah, remind me later to remind me.
He wants to show us something.
I want to show you. No, I want to show you something, John.
Oh, okay, fine.
Anywho, status match, took the flights. So I had the interesting, now I've been able to fly in a first class seat on Delta, a premium coach, and a coach on all my flights. So like I said, there's, actually, no, I take that back. So there was one to Atlanta, one to where I was going, then one back to Atlanta, one where I was going, then one. So I've done 8 flights now. I've got to sit in multiple seats all over the airplane. So I think I have a fair comparison to what I experienced on United on Delta.
Okay.
Also, little did I know, because I'm a bougie son of a gun, I decided that during one of my very long layovers in Atlanta that I was going to go and just buy a club experience or the Delta Club and just go into the Delta Club, and because you can get one for what I think it was $50 or $60.
I'm not leaving.
And you can he can still hear me, by the way, because he's got his headphones on. So you can go and buy and just try. But it turns out with my American Express card, which I got the American Express because I want the Centurion Lounge access for those airports that don't have a lot of different access to clubs you can get with domestic flights. Well, my American Express also gives me access to the Delta clubs. So I didn't have to pay for it. I got to go in and I got to experience the Delta Club. So my overall review, people, let's start with the Delta Club. Sorry, United, I love you, but the Delta Club beats your club hands down.
Nice.
The food was better. The customer experience was about the same.
Okay.
A lot more options when it came to food. And the seating was a lot more comfortable. And I got to try 2 different clubs.
Only in Atlanta? Oh, a different one too.
There are 2 different clubs in Atlanta.
Oh, got it. Okay. Depending upon where your gate was.
Correct. Correct.
Yep.
So, Delta won the when it came to the clubs.
Okay. I found with Delta that it really, because that's who I used to fly a lot, that it really depends where. Older airports, and I mean, Detroit, frankly, had some of the nicest Delta clubs, but they've been saying lately, has Delta, that they're trying to make it more difficult to get into the club because everybody and everybody's kids are in the Delta clubs. And so if you're
it's the same
traveling on business,
United.
I'm sure it's just some places it's just it's not relaxing. And that was kind of the attraction to those clubs in the first place. Business travelers, typically, no offense, families, but business travelers who would go in there and just need to decompress and not necessarily hang out at the gate. Yep. They had desks, and some of them had showers and spots for you to plug in, and they're very nice.
Food and drink,
food, exactly,
and coffee, and
sometimes big food. For a while, Delta ran with high level alcohol, so they had. I mean, the top-notch scotches and high-end, vodkas and so on, the liquor bar. And so,
though I didn't try it, they still do.
Okay,
I don't travel well when I drink, so I don't drink when I travel.
I don't either. I agree with you. I used to drink more when I traveled, but yeah, that was 25, 30 years ago. That's not something I want to replicate, that, because there's usually that whole thing about, I don't know, getting a rental car when you land. It's not a great idea to, do you have DUI protection? Yeah. Because I don't think they sell that. No. I'd like a car seat and I need DUI protection. I don't. Might be on
that
something.
Would be an interesting business to get into, though. Now that I think about it, something we'll have to talk about off the podcast.
Okay, let's do.
Always trying to find different ways to make money, people. And hey, you know what? Before I get back to the Delta thing, let's talk about that, because you and I had actually been discussing ways that we can fund our happy hours. Speaking of drinking as well. So John and I actually have a question for you, listeners and viewers. Out of the things that we talk about, because we are known as, and even in our description, it's the podcast about everything and absolutely nothing. But we do have certain things that we stick to. Travel.
We are known for.
We are known for it. Damn it, John! Don't even question it. It just, we're known for it. Okay. But in our podcasts, and we have gotten feedback from people whenever we get on topics about travel and travel tips and stuff like that.
Sure.
We've also
dogs,
coffee.
Liquor,
liquor, automotive liquor, because that is kind of where we live, and digital marketing is another thing that so there are a lot of different topics. So not that we're going to change our podcast per se, but we have this little thing that we've had since day one called Patreon. And John and I have decided that we would like to make some content that's very specific, very targeted to what you, the listeners, want to hear more about. So we want to offer up in Patreon some of these episodes for Patreon subscribers. So if anyone can tell me, or tell us rather, if there's a specific topic that you want us to dive deeper into and really, talk about, and we'll actually research it for the things that we don't understand or don't know, let us know what that might be, and then we can build that content and put it up there in Patreon, and we'll send everyone the link and make it part of our weekly conversation.
Yes, and let's just say we would be appreciative if you just wanted to contribute to the Scotch Fund. If you would like to do that, and we will toast you, I promise, on the air, and we'll definitely make sure that you get your props. But I look at sites that have, especially YouTube, that have just a boatload of Patreon people, and I have to admit, usually there are attractive girls dressed very scantily. So
I could change the thumbnail and put your head on a scantily clad woman's body. I mean, I'm sure that'll attract a lot of people.
It's the first time you've done that, because I think
it didn't say I'd have to build it.
Exactly. I have it right here on my phone. But yes, Nick and I will start wearing bikinis unless you start giving to the Scotch Fund. I think that's
a good threat.
No,
I
it's
like
not.
That.
I'm not wearing a bikini.
I'm sure someone out there would actually kind of like that. I don't want to meet that person. I really don't want to meet that person.
Yeah, they don't listen to the podcast. No. But can you imagine the crowd we'd attract if we?
Yeah, that's the problem. Let's go back to Delta.
Okay, back to Delta. But just as that interjection, we would love it if you would come on, give to the Scotch Fund, and we'll give you some big props for that.
Yep,
we are up to how many episodes now?
178. I think this will be the 28th episode in the 4th season.
You're supposed to have that right off the top.
I know.
So listeners and viewers, you can go back, you can listen to some of the older ones, and you'll see how much we're exactly the same as we
Yeah.
always were.
Haven't changed a bit.
It seems like they'd improve at some point. Well,
we have fewer technical issues.
Well, that's true. Yeah,
except for your screen issue today.
But it was my screen. It wasn't the
There's always
software.
Something.
Yeah,
it's not the software.
Anyway,
we really like the software on Riverside FM.
Is excellent.
And if you're interested, by the way, not a sponsor, but if you are interested in starting your own podcast, we highly recommend it. And there's a link in our bio that will allow you to get Riverside for I don't know. I think there's a discount. I'm not sure what it is, but there is a little bit of a discount. Or
let's say there's a discount. There's a
discount. It's means you get to listen to us less. Anyway, Delta.
Okay, back to Delta. Thank you.
Delta. Flights. So Delta wins clubs. Flights. Okay. First class, I was not impressed. I really was not impressed.
Were you at the bulkhead? Where were you?
I had bulkhead and regular in the middle. So
okay.
So I've done both.
Okay.
And neither impressed me very much. The seats weren't any more comfortable. In fact, they were a little bit, compared to United, they were very uncomfortable.
Okay.
And the selection, I wasn't on a flight long enough for a meal, but the snack selection wasn't necessarily any better. Other than that, the glasses were a little bit bigger, but the seats weren't any more comfortable.
Okay.
The service wasn't any different than United. I did find it was interesting to listen to the small variations in how they do the safety briefing.
Okay.
And honestly, the employees didn't seem as happy. And again, I've done 8 flights, and I can say every single time they just did not seem as happy. I don't know, and which is weird because I know Delta they just went through that whole pay thing. I don't know if that included the rest of the staff, but I know the pilots must be happier because they got a boost in their pay.
Yeah, but I just find it varies from flight crew to flight crew. It seems like
but again,
8 flights though.
Exactly.
It's sadly, if you saw a trend, that's not good.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good.
Yeah.
So that was first class. Premium economy. Again, I think United wins. Their seats are a little bit more comfortable. Okay. A little bit more leg room. And that was the other thing about first class. I felt like I had less leg room, even at the bulkhead.
Bulkhead you do, of course.
The bulkhead I do, but even in the regular seat, I felt like it was, I could still stretch out. So
it just depends on the plane. Sometimes the bulkheads are workable and sometimes they're terrible. Usually the older 757s are terrible. Bulkhead is the worst.
One of them was a 737.
Yeah. And they're just not great.
No, I will say that
if you're bulkhead, it's a challenge. I never take bulkhead.
I will say that their setup is a little bit different because with United, every single flight that I'm on, it's the cockpit door, then the bathroom and the galley, and your seat is really close to the front door.
Yes.
On the Delta flights, you've got the cockpit, the galley, the bathroom and the closet, and then the seats. So you don't get to see what's going on in the front nearly as much, which for me, I kind of like that. I like watching the activity.
I used to love it. And this is back when I flew United all the time. I used to love it. They would broadcast the tower in the headphones.
Oh, that's cool.
It was the best.
That's awesome.
And it was so fun because you kind of knew stuff that was going on, except for the time when we lost the number 2 engine on a DC-10.
Yeah, that's probably when they stopped doing that. It's all your fault.
Probably, I think they shut it off on that flight. It was always up to the captain, whether he or she wanted to do that. But that was that was the boom. You heard the engine go, and then we start banking. That's not something you want to have happen when you're flying. Yeah,
no.
Okay, so we've gotten. Now we got to go to the coach seat. Right?
Coach seat, and I will put this caveat on there. It was both the 2 times that I did the coach, they were both exit rows. So I did have more leg room, but I was looking at people in the regular seats, not much more comfortable than the Comfort Plus, which is what they call theirs, their premium economy. And I did. I actually had more leg room in the exit row than I did in the Comfort Plus. So I would almost prefer, like you had mentioned, you usually do. I'd almost prefer sitting in the exit row than in Comfort Plus.
Yep, I do almost all the time.
The only reason I would move to Comfort Plus is I don't like being over the wing. I like being in the front of the airplane. That's the only reason I would probably choose the Comfort Plus over that.
Got it.
Their upgrade system sucks. United, I can actually go in the app and choose whether I want to just apply to get an upgrade, or I can actually use points or cash to upgrade. I can't find anywhere to do it.
Really?
Nope.
I will say their app and their website are not they are not intuitive at all.
No. Delta, and I'm a pretty good technology person. I'm pretty good at learning.
You're learning. I've taught you a lot.
Yeah, you really have. And I do have more to learn. So, anyway, I've learned technology pretty quickly, and yeah, it's still, I'm still struggling trying to figure it out.
Yep.
And it craps out on me all the time too. So I've had to go from my app to the website.
Oh, that sucks.
So anyway, that's my main experience.
Okay. That's good though.
The interesting though too, I want to say something that I found interesting when it came to the people that were on the flight. And you can definitely tell when, especially the business people, I'm
customers,
I'm kind of excluding the vacation travelers, unless they are also just regular Delta people. But one thing I noticed when you're getting in line, United, you have 2 lanes. You've got the group 1, group 2, and then everyone else, right? And if you're group 1 or group 2, you are crammed into that section, and you're getting ready to go, and you're vying for the right position to get it. And it's almost closer to cattle call that I hate, but it's what you got to go through. And people are they're nice, but they're rude nice, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Delta, I was impressed by everyone crowded, but there were no lines. And when you could hear them, when they called for a certain section, everyone got out of the way and kind of split, and you just walked right up and went on. And that was easier. And then when we were on the airplane and everyone got to the gate, or the airplane got to the gate, no one really stood up and bum rushed the front like they do on United. So everyone just stayed calm, stayed in their seats. Some people did get up and grab their bags, but then they sat back down and they waited, and then they just calmly, and we got off a lot faster. So I will say the people, the customers, much better on Delta than they are on United.
In my experience, the ones who are the least well behaved are the vacationers.
Yes.
Who don't fly that often.
Right.
And business people, they get it. It's not honestly whether you get up and we were on a flight to Mexico, I think, with our friends Matt and Carrie, and we landed, and everybody's excited. They're on vacation, and these ladies behind us, 2-3 rows behind, did the bum rush as soon as we got to the gate, seatbelt signs off, they're grabbing their bags and they're like rushing up the middle of the aisle. And people are like, oh, what are you doing? And they're like squeezing by. And Matt, who's rather large, just kind of got in the aisle and pulled his bag down and
nice
stood there. And they're trying to sneak by, and he's going, no. And we're back, and it's not like we're near the front of the plane. We're in row 30.
Yeah.
So, as you know, it doesn't matter. All you're doing by jumping up 3 or 4 rows is pissing the people off that you just cut off.
Yeah. You're not going to get off the plane really any faster. If you do, you're off 2 people faster. Maybe.
Exactly. What, they think that the parting of the Red Sea was going to allow them, it looks like you're in a hurry, go right ahead. No. Yeah. That's not how it works.
I will say the one nice thing that United does is, and Southwest does it too, if you are on the airplane and they know you have a tight connection, they will say, folks, if you do not have a tight connection, please stay seated and allow those people who do have tight connections to disembark first.
That's not a perfect science either, because
it's not,
most of the
but
time
it makes people feel better.
Which is the main thing.
That's the main thing. Yeah. I mean, that is really, that's the airline who is the one who got you that tight connection.
Well,
acknowledging the fact that they're doing that. And I liked that. I like that a lot.
I think it's nothing. I've seen way too often where they do that And then it doesn't matter. Everybody
matter.
just gets up because everybody has a tight connection.
Yeah.
You know, and
my connection's in 2 hours. I'm not going to make it.
I need time in the lounge. And I don't get that. I know. Oddly enough, coincidentally, just booked flights for Lisa and me on Allegiant.
Interesting. And
this is the convenience booking that I was talking about earlier that we said it's because 20 minutes away is the little airport that we use.
Sure.
And the other one's a direct flight to another little airport an hour away from my mom's place. So we're kind of excited about that part of it. But
that's kind of neat.
It's Allegiant, and you go, okay, they don't have flights every day.
Right.
Yeah. I think like Tuesday and Wednesdays, they don't fly.
It's kind of like Sun Country when I was growing up.
Except not, happily, because Sun Country is, wow.
I don't know what it's like anymore, but this was back in like the mid 80s.
Yeah. It was, they were just kind of a part-time. Yeah. But, I mean, I get it. It saves money and so on. And these two airports, they own it pretty much. You know, they're the big airlines, quote unquote, that fly in and out. Anyway, they've got decent prices. It wasn't bad, but they jack you up for everything. So, for example, to do an exit seat, it's an extra 30 some bucks a seat. So I got for two of us, and that's one trip, and then you got to do it again for the trip back. and when I learned, though, the last time we flew them, which was also the first time we flew them, they have they will board exit row people early. So I had mistakenly paid for priority boarding and we're in an exit row. So they go, okay, and all priority boarding and exit row people may board now. I go, crap, I just blew $40 because I had paid for both. I learned, though, hopefully that will not change. Because all you care about, we just had one carry-on bag between the two of us on the last flight. We'll probably do the same thing because they charge for carry-ons. Yep. They charge for check bags. And so
I love that. So Jen just went out to Colorado. I put her on United, and her birthday is this month. So I popped for first class for her, at least out there. I couldn't get her first class on the way back, which was really weird. But I did get her upgraded to first class.
Did you use points?
Yeah, I used points, but I would have paid for it as well if I could have gotten her first class on both. I would have done it. Yeah, it didn't really matter. It wasn't available on the second flight.
Sold out.
Flight back.
Sure.
Yeah. So anyway, I haven't flown with her. Well, we went to Orlando on Southwest for Disney in December, but I haven't flown with her for a really long time. She hasn't flown really for a really long time. She hasn't flown by herself since she was 6 months pregnant with Peyton. Oh. So this was the first time she's flown by herself. So I packed her bag. You know, she gave me everything she wanted to pack. So I gave her, because when I fly, I have one bag. I have a backpack. That backpack, I can fit 3 days worth of clothes in that backpack, my computer, my iPad, and some other miscellaneous gear, and a pair of shoes. I could probably go 5 days if I didn't have to wear different shoes, you know? Anyway, so I packed her into that backpack, got everything in there, put her computer in there. And I said, you don't need another carry-on. You just take this. And because, well, in United, at first class especially, you don't need to pay for a carry-on. You don't need to really pay for a carry-on no matter what. You're limited the further back you are in the numbers, but first class, you can have a personal item and a carry-on. Yeah. And, and put her on she was really excited. She was really excited for first class and all that stuff. And when she got there, and I purposely, because I had the choice between regular United and then United Express, which folks, if you don't know, United kind of franchises its name to smaller airlines that do more regional stuff.
That's correct.
Which is United Express. First class on United is better than first class on United Express.
No question.
Because usually they give you a meal, which they did, and she did like her meal. They usually give you a drink before you take off, And then of course you can have whatever you want on the way there. But then I asked her, I said, how'd it go? And she's like, well, they didn't give me a drink when we were there. They gave us water, which, okay, they gave you water. At least they gave you water.
Okay.
The meal was good. And she said, but other than that, I thought the seats would be roomier. I thought it would be which is funny because, again, she's flown a lot. She just hasn't flown by its perspective. And I thought it was interesting. I also got her into the United Club, which she didn't go into the main one. She went into one in her. So she didn't go to the main one that I usually go to in Denver so she was flying to Denver, then she was flying to Colorado Springs.
Oh, okay.
So she had a layover and she went into what they had a temporary club, and she was telling me about the temporary club. And I'm like, I'm so disappointed that your trip was not what I wanted it to be. No one was working with me because it's not to my standard.
Yeah.
And then, she called me a boozy son of a bitch, but
which you are,
which I am.
Yeah. Yes.
Rightly so, though. I maximize my points. Damn it.
Yes,
so anyway, it was interesting to hear her perspective.
But she enjoyed first class, so that's good.
Oh yeah, she did. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah. So we'll see if when she has to fly coach in the next week, because she's going back out to Denver to meet me. I told everyone about my camping trip.
Yes,
my conference and camping trip. So she's going to be out there with Peyton, and they're flying regular coach. I didn't upgrade them on that one. I don't think, part of me would love to, but at the same time, I don't want my daughter to go, why am I not flying first class? Well,
and if you think about it, and this is the way Lisa and I always work it when we travel together, is you've got two seats next to each other. Mm-hmm. You can spill over. It's no big, when you're family, you can spill over into the other seat.
Exactly.
And let's face it, I spill over a little more than she does. So
Peyton would have a tough time spilling over. I mean, a coach seat for Peyton is like first class for a regular person.
Well, no, but
she's so freaking skinny.
I mean, you can lean into, and the armrest is never an issue like it is with, sitting next to some. Yeah. Wow, you're creepy. That sort of a thing. So anyway, yes, you will have to let us know. When is your camping trip coming up? Don't start yawning when I start talking.
It's been a long
John
day.
Starts talking, and I really get sleepy. You should bottle that, John.
Well, it's because your voice is so soothing.
It is.
You definitely have a face for radio and a voice for silent film.
So what?
Anywho, it's at the end of July.
You wait till you're my age. End of July. Good. Yeah. Well, I and the other PoddiMouths fans will look forward to your take.
Well, I'm going to do my best for those of you who haven't seen it already. Do my best to post to eat.drink.road on Instagram so you can follow my adventure.
And we should plan to do a PoddiMouths from the road. You on the road. I'll try. But
hopefully I'll be up in the mountains and I won't have cell signal.
You'll have some access.
I'm specifically looking for places that don't.
I'm going to be in the mountains, and I know damn well you're going to stop at Starbucks. No.
Come on, buddy. Don't you know me? I'm a little more bougie than that. I'm going to look for a local coffee shop.
You've said bougie 3 times today.
It's my word. It's my word of the day.
It is. It's weird. It's
I only look for local coffee shops. I buy local people. The only time I do Starbucks is when I don't have any other choice.
I go Starbucks to be safe sometimes, and I kind of like their drive-up window because they're all, hey, how's it going today? They don't do the, what may I get you? Or, welcome to blah, blah, blah. Let me take your order.
Interesting.
They're much more.
First of all,
hey, how's it going?
If I could do a drive-through at Starbucks, I usually order on the app first and then just drive up and say, order for Nick. And then I pick it up through the window.
I've learned to do some of that stuff. But some, it's the same with Panera. We get there and I go, crap, I should have ordered first. And then we end up at the kiosk and we're doing the order. This is how I order at the kiosk, just so you know. And it takes longer than talking to somebody at the counter, but look at me, look at how advanced I am in technology. And the person at the counter is going, I've been standing here the whole time. Right. So anyway, I always forget. And so, but do the drive up there. Hey, how's it going? And it's just nice. It's a nice conversation starter. it's not as nice when there's a line of 40 people there,
Yeah.
waiting to get through the drive-through. How's it going? Just
Always.
give me my damn coffee.
So we don't have in our little hamlet here in Nashville, we don't have a local coffee shop. Which we kind of do, but it's on the other side of town. So it takes a good 15, 20 minutes to get there but it's still, so we live in Bellevue, Tennessee, Bellevue, which is Nashville, but it's the Bellevue hamlet. I call it a hamlet. See, that's 3 hamlets in a row, now 4. They do have one called The Well, and it's a neat little coffee shop, but it's, like I said, it's Starbucks is 3 minutes away versus 20.
But I like the coffee at my house. I am.
I do too.
90%
90% of the time we do coffee at our house. However, on the rare occasion we do a Starbucks run.
Sure.
Which it's between the house and the studio. So if Jen's running late, she's going to stop at Starbucks on the way to the studio.
Sure.
But the Starbucks has a drive-through, but it's in a small mall, a strip mall type thing.
Yep.
So on the end is the dry cleaners that I use on one end. And then there's a barber shop. I think there's another something or other. And then there's the Starbucks on the other end. So it's a small thing, but you have to drive around. You pull into the drive-through on the dry cleaner side, and you have to go around the back and then hit the drive-through. So if you get there in the morning and it's busy, you've got, and the main road, because it's between a Kroger, which is our grocery store for people that don't have Kroger, K. Rogers. It's so there's a road there, and then there's the Kroger on the right side, and then this whole little mall on the left side. So the whole line will back up in front of the dry cleaners and then out into the street and into the red light, and could be in that intersection blocking all the traffic because it's only a 2-lane road.
It's incredible, isn't it?
It's insane. And I'm like, why in the world would they do this? And I mean, this Starbucks has been there for 10 years at least. Yep. That's how long I've known it's been there. So it's probably been there longer, and they've never changed it, and they've never changed the traffic pattern. And it's always like that. And I just don't get it. I can't. And of course, when I'm not going to Starbucks, I'm going to the dry cleaner. It's So I'm sitting in line to get to the dry cleaner.
That place is the bane of your existence.
It really is.
I think about that, and then I think about back in Detroit at the Renaissance Center when I used to do work there. There was a Starbucks on I think the second level, and every time I'd go to the Starbucks, there were no fewer. And I don't want to oversell it, but when you would go at high time for Starbucks, which is early in the morning or whatever, regularly 30 plus people in line.
Yeah,
standing in line. And at one time they claimed it was the busiest Starbucks in the world. I don't know, but there was always a line at the Renaissance Center, and there are always lines at their drive-throughs too, it seems like. So I give them credit, unless you go like I do sometimes early afternoon. Not a bad thing.
And I can imagine that it's a RenCen. I mean, the RenCen's big and it's got a lot of different people in it, but
big time.
The other one that has a really long line that I have only once stood in, because I've been there a couple of times, is the original Starbucks in Seattle, right across from not Pike's Market. What's the market?
What is Pike Street Market?
Okay. Huh. I don't remember.
Right, it's Pike Street.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, have you ever been to that Starbucks, the original?
I have. I've been to that one. I've been to the Pioneer Square one. I've been to a bunch of them, and the ones down.
Weren't we in Pioneer Square together when someone there was a shooting out the? It was near Pioneer.
Wouldn't surprise me at the courtyard. You mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Near
I think they're closing that one down. One of the.
Are they really? I love that.
They're closing. I think 12 in Seattle alone, if I'm not
seriously.
Mistaken. Yeah, because
that one was really. I can understand that.
Yeah.
But that particular courtyard was beautiful because it was a historic building.
I loved it and still like it, but they're having their security there. I stayed there, I don't know, 8 months ago, 10 months ago, but their security is really stretched thin. And
is it really?
It's still a nice hotel, but boy, you don't want to go out any place.
But you look at that neighborhood. Yeah. I mean,
we used to be able to
all the time. We walk that neighborhood. As long as it's not dark, it's fine.
Yeah. And even when it was,
I honestly hate it because that was near our old office. And I used to hate that walk from the hotel to the office.
Not a good walk.
It's not a good walk.
No.
A lot of pot smells, but not a good
big
walk.
Time and everything. Yeah. Not just
every
pot,
smell.
But,
that was the good smell.
Yes, right. Exactly. Oh, it's not so bad now. Yeah. You smelled other things too that weren't so good. Okay. You said the dry cleaners. Do you send your shirts out ever to get laundered?
No. I don't send. What do you mean send them out? Like, have someone.
So you iron your own shirts, dress shirts?
No. No, I send them to the cleaners to get cleaned and pressed, and that's the main reason I do it. Is I have trouble. I've tried to do my own starch, and I've screwed it up every single time. I have not learned how to do it.
So you do send them out.
That's what you call it.
The dry cleaner.
So when you say send them out, we have a mobile service that will come and pick up the shirts.
Okay.
So when you say that, I think that's what you're saying. No,
got it. So you still do your shirts. So may I ask what they charge for a shirt? And
I don't know.
And do they dry clean them or launder them? If you're talking starch, they launder them. Not with starch, they don't.
Well, they do something to make it stick up.
Well, yeah, it's
I don't know.
Laundry, but they put starch in with the water when they wash it.
Oh, maybe they do.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm guessing. Yeah. Anyway, so you get them starched. How much? Do you know?
I don't know, but I have ranged. I have never gone for less than $50, but I usually wait a while before I usually am taking pants and jackets and
sure.
So
I'm just curious because I remember years ago. Oh man, I think before Lisa and I were married, so 35 years ago, in Houston, there was a dry cleaner we found that would do shirts for like 75 cents each.
Oh, wow.
And it was the best. I mean, so I'd taken 20 shirts and it was a steal to get them done. But, then you find other places, Chicago, and they're substantially more than that. And how our business has changed a little bit. It's a little more casual. But in the days when we had to wear jacket and dress shirt all the time, I was regularly sending stuff because I iron them now and I hate it.
Yeah.
But there just are not a lot of places that will launder your shirts around here, it seems like. So anyway, that's of course, in Florida, nobody wears anything other than, we've got our Hawaiian shirt day. Really?
Well, you got your 32 cools now. That's what I'm wearing.
I do have those. Yeah. If I want to wear
sponsor.
them. Yeah.
If I want to wear them.
Not a sponsor. Well, I do. I have 4 or 5, but it's a polo shirt. And I'm not big on polo shirts. The problem is I'm big in polo shirts, so I have to watch what I wear around it.
Yeah. No, I'm strange like that. I would prefer a t-shirt, but I don't.
Strange like a lot of things.
I know. I don't like the way they usually sit around my neck. So if it doesn't sit right, t-shirts. So that's why I always try to wear a collared shirt.
It's got to sit high. This is my favorite. These are, True something or other, not a sponsor. And I like these because they sit kind of high. Yeah. There are some, and you see dudes wearing them. And I guess if you're young, you could pull it off. It's like slung way low, or they've got even the V-necks. And I'm like, can't do it.
I'm sorry. All my hair, fell from the top of my head onto my chest and my back. And I'm not going to take the time to shave it. So therefore I'll wear shirts that are cinched up high.
We call it Nick's sweater vest. That's very nice.
That's right.
It's very nice.
Often, when I go swimming, people often say, "Man, are you going to jump in the pool with that sweater on?" Oh, wait, I'm sorry.
That's really a good picture that I'm going to have in my head now. Thank you.
Yeah. I do what I can. I try to.
Yeah, I know people are listening going, thank God I'm not watching this.
Yep. Anywho.
Yes. You know what that means, listeners and viewers?
No, they really don't.
We're about ready to wrap up because you say anywho. Yeah. It's time to wrap up.
That's true. So folks, you know what? Head up to PoddiMouths.com. PoddiMouths.com. And please, whether it's there, because you can leave a comment, you can email us. Yeah. You can go to Facebook, you can go to Instagram, you can go to Twitter if you really want to. Probably won't answer you there because I'm, say I want to talk to people and I usually don't.
Dumpster fire.
And, anywhere else. you could even go up to Patreon right now, even though we've lost the login to that particular Patreon.
We probably have $50,000 in our Patreon account.
Probably.
We just haven't checked it.
We haven't checked it.
If you just deposited, listeners, $50,000 in our Patreon account, thank you.
Thank
you. If you're the one who did that,
unfortunately, it's 51,000 is when we actually recognize someone for doing something like that. But
that's not unfortunate. Maybe it's somebody who wanted to be anonymous.
Maybe. I doubt that. Anyway, let us know. We do want to make some content that's directed specifically at travel, at more of a specific topic to educate, to start conversations, to really dive deep. And, we might even bring on some specific guests that
experts,
are SMEs. Yes. Unlike us. Exactly. and make them Patreon exclusive. So let us know, please. We'd like to hear from you, and we will put together whatever content we hear from you about, or something like that. Whatever. I was trying to think of something clever. It didn't come out. Never does. I'm not very clever. Anyway, John,
extremely clever.
You, my friend, have a fantabulous rest of your day, and same to you, folks. We'll see you. We'll see you next time.
Always good hanging with all of y'all. See ya. What does this mean?
I don't know.
They think we're surfers.
Yeah.
We're not.
You're some kind of surfer, dude.
We're not surfers.
Not surfers.